Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. Just had Tim on here. He's cruising down to Milwaukee, and he was on just chatting for a bit. So we look forward to having him back here in a day or two, obviously. But Emilio, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm good. Glad to see Tim's good. He's a busy man. I know he's going to get me a couple more tools, so I can't wait.
Yeah, and about that, Emilio.
Oh boy,
man, let me tell you, my brother, obviously handling his estate and everything,
yep.
and he's a big Ryobi guy, bro.
Ooh, I'll take it.
I am fully stocked with Ryobi. Every time I pull them out, I'm like, boy, Emilio would hate me for this.
Same parent company. TTI still is their parent company, so I'll take it, man. They're a part of the crew.
Speaking of parent company, here's a guy who really runs the show right here, Mr. Jacob Beard. Jacob, how you doing, sir?
Oh, boys, it's been a minute, huh? But it looks
like
that, and I just want to say, it seems as if our human meat missiles got a little wet today. You know what I mean?
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean? It was a monsoon, guys.
Get your head out of the gutter, Emilio.
Jeez. Our highly trained, athletic, athletes that are really great got a little monsoon.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
I do love that background pic. That's pretty sweet, isn't it? Seeing the guys out there, the water splashing around. That's a big rainstorm hitting the practice field is obviously what Jacob's talking about. The rest of you guys need to get your head out of the gutter.
Right,
okay?
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, this is probably my favorite video of the day. Wes Hodkowitz posted this. Check this out, fellas. Look at my man out there. You love to see it. For everybody listening on the pod, it's just Wes Hod just standing out there in a torrential downpour, man. He just takes a deep breath. I think the tweet said, "Cover sports," they said. "It'll be fun," they said.
I used to love playing in the rain, though. Absolutely was the best.
Yeah, it is the best, man. I know one of the things, being a baseball guy growing up, if we had rain in the forecast, whenever rain was scheduled to hit, you get on the horn. This is back when we had the actual dial, the corded phones, if you will. And you call the guys up in the neighborhood, hey, let's go work on diving catches. And we go out there and hit the baseball field and work on diving grabs. And to this day, every time it rains, I'm like, man, I wish I had somebody throw me a ball out there right now.
Yes.
Just absolutely awesome. So, yeah, we were the same way with the weather. Now, in the wintertime, if there was ever snow flying back home in Kentucky, man, we were out there playing football in it. It was just the best, absolute best. We put a little bonfire off the side of the field, stay warm with. You're good to go, man. It was great. So,
do I understand correctly that they didn't have rain in the forecast, and then up until like right before it hit? That's what I watched a couple of interviews, and they said that there wasn't any rain really on the forecast. It was supposed to be cloudy, and then all of a sudden winds changed, and they got absolute little torrential downpour.
We'll kind of loop this video. Obviously, it wasn't raining when they first got out there, right? So I want to give a shout out to everybody. Hopefully I hit everybody. Wes Hodkowitz, Matt Schneidman, Paul Brettel, everybody who posted videos on Twitter. We're kind of using those clips here. Those guys have done a phenomenal job covering camp so far, and I know it's only going to get better. There's your boy Brenton Cox Jr., Jacob. Look at him walking into the facility. My man
won't even make a comment. Not even going to comment on it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Absolutely shredded.
Ooh, he looks good, man. He looks ready.
Yeah. The boys running out on the practice field. Man, I love this time of year, man.
It is still dry. Yeah.
Yeah. And then as it goes along, obviously, you see the rain kind of move into the picture. You'll see a video Matt Schneidman tweeted of the heavens just opened up, man, for sure. But anyway, so obviously we had a practice today. Listen, guys, we got to cut it kind of short tonight. We're only going to go about 50 minutes because I was fortunate enough to have Rob Westerman. There's my man right there. Rob Westerman from GBP Daily, Green Bay Packers Daily, invited me onto his show this evening immediately following this. So looking forward to hanging out with him, talking a little camp. Appreciate it, Rob. Thanks for swinging through, buddy. Let me tell you something about Rob, and I'll say it again tonight. He's gonna hate it when I say it, but I'm just going to say it. When I first got on Twitter and created the PTA account, and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go. I've heard horrible things about Twitter. One of the first people I connected with was Rob. And just professional to the T, way better than me at that. And just the dude is just done nothing but encourage me since day one. That's the beautiful thing about Packer fans, man. It just like me, didn't know Jacob, didn't know Emilio right down the street, didn't know it, right? Chewy, same thing. Tim obviously went from Milwaukee to Green Bay, and you start covering the Packers, you get connected on social media, and that's the positive of social media, right? There's plenty of negatives out there, but meeting people like Rob, it's been absolutely awesome. So let's just do it, man. Let's dive into the practice information. I've got a bunch of bullet points we're going to hit on. We're going to go rapid fire. Is there anything, Emilio, you and Jacob, that you guys want to hit on first? Anything at all that kind of, hey, man, I want to make sure we get this in maybe right off the top here? Anything?
Jacob.
Did you guys watch any player interviews today by chance?
I seen the Xavier McKinney one. We've actually got a clip of it. That was
okay, cool. So if maybe I don't want to squash any fire there, but I watched Lucas Van Ness. I watched a couple other players, and Van Ness just seems like he's really taken a big step. Wes was asking him a couple of questions about, like, have you been excited about putting your hand in the dirt kind of thing? And he would, like, his eyes lit up. He's like, oh yeah, like I'm ready to go with that. And it just feels like I watched one with Tay Wicks, and Tay Wicks, man, I feel like he's grown too. And he almost has that kind of same, he's just very closed off. Him and Romeo have that same, it takes a lot to make that dude smile. And if he smiles, you asked a good question kind of thing. And they just asked, like, how are you going to get better this year? What are you going to plan on doing? And he goes, I got my plans. I got my goals. Like, and they asked, like, do you think you've put in extra work as opposed to maybe not other players on your team, but other wide receivers in the league kind of thing? And he goes, oh yeah. Like, I know what I have to do, basically. I'm summarizing, I'm not phrasing, but it was just really cool because they asked him to, does it matter who's thrown to you? And you could tell he was like, in his head, he went, oh yeah, for sure. But he stumbled on the question for a second. And he went, well, I'm just here to catch balls basically. And like whoever they put there, I'm going to grab, but it's, I'm just excited, dude. And they talked about, I don't know how much of the McKinney one you have, but he just, every time they interview this guy, he just is such a selfless leader, but he realizes he is a leader. It's the weirdest way. It's a humble brag, but not in any way. Like, they asked him certain questions. He goes, hey, I know I'm here to be a leader. He goes, but I'm here to just be a leader in addition to Rashawn, to Kenny, to other guys that have been here. And I'm just an extra added point to that whole team and that dynamic. And it just made me really excited that they've gelled. They bought in. They're all bought in.
Yeah. And what you hit on there, Jacob, is what we talk about all the time, social IQ. His social IQ is through the freaking roof. And let's go ahead and play that clip. We've got that clip of Xavier McKinney. Again, this was tweeted out by Matt Schneidman from the locker room. So just want to give him credit. Obviously, you guys are probably already following Matt. I've been combing through YouTube every week going, when's the Matt Schneidman show going to crank back up? Because I loved it. It was like my tradition last year. He went on, I think, at 7 o'clock my time. We went live at 8 o'clock our time. So I would catch his show right before ours. It was awesome. Yeah. So here we go. Here is the Xavier McKinney. And it's just a quick clip. But again, shout out to Matt Schneidman for this video.
I think I'm helping alongside lead. Obviously, these guys had leaders before I got here. So I'm just bringing in my other skill set of adding in to that leadership. So it's been fun just going out there with the guys, RG, Casey, like all these guys are leaders. They've been leaders before I got here. I'm just here to add on. Obviously in my room, we're younger. So, that's a big emphasis for me, just making sure that I lead them the right way, lead by example, try to do the right things to try to make sure that, they're watching how it should be done and making sure that they go out and they are able to do the same thing.
Oh, I love it, dude. I love it. And like I said, extremely high social IQ. One of the best things you can do as a leader is to not ooze this, hey, I want this leadership, right? You can tell the people that are grabbing at it, they want to be considered a leader in this and that. If you just go out and lead, you're going to be a leader. It's really that simple. But I love his whole demeanor. You could tell that dude played for Nick Saban. Can you not?
Yeah.
So
definitely he walks and talks the act, right? And he said everything right there. I mean, he came over with a C on his chest and is just like, hey man, let them do their thing, and it's perfect. He's got his own room he's got to worry about. Why try to spread that out and worry about the whole defense when you got your four that you got to, your buddy next to you. And that was the other thing. They were saying that they had asked Bullard a question. I'm gonna mess it up, but like what do you think? Do you need to get better or anything like that? And it's like, oh man, I can always get better. Matt came out and goes, I don't know, I haven't heard that, but that fires me up. And I was just, I was excited with just that.
You know what he said? I was gonna comment on that. I didn't know if you guys had covered it yesterday or whatever happened. when they asked him, "Are you more comfortable this year?" And the dude, I'm telling you, he's very articulate. He's very, very. There you go, right there. He's like, I'm not gonna lie. He goes, Javon Bullard was asked yesterday how comfortable he is in this Packers defense. Rookie safety started on day one. Quote, I ain't going to lie. I don't even like the word comfortable. No disrespect, but I really don't like that word, especially in this profession, because the second you get comfortable, somebody's coming for your job. And I don't have a job yet. So that was like, and actually Lucas Finesse commented on his comment when they asked him a similar question. He goes, I like exactly what Bullard said. So you got second year guys quoting rookies in their interviews. Think about that.
Yeah. That is called synergy, my friends. Mm-hmm. That is called everyone is on the same freaking page. When I seen that come across the wire from Matt Schneidman, I think I actually quote tweeted and I put, yep, let's just go out and buy us I said Javon Bullard jersey purchase confirmed. Right?
Mandy.
You know, she's watching right now. She's online. I guarantee it. She's like, "Oh, I get to spend more of his money." Great. But yeah, dude, I love that quote. And here's the thing: like they said, he's starting. It seems like he's just going to be a day one starter, and none of us are going to be surprised, right, Emilio? Jacob pointed him out to us. We dove into the tape. We were like, "Holy cow, who is this kid?" Then you find out he's got slot experience, and for some reason you need that covered in a pinch. But really excited about Bullard, Emilio.
And I liked that he was, even like Jacob was saying, you know, taking notes from a rookie. The reaction we got out of our head coach from a brand new kid that came in to the locker room just with, you know, one statement that he said, that's mentality, focus, everything, man. That is exciting. I was excited when Matt got that hype, honestly.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. Just trying to jot this stuff down. I'm getting better with the titles, fellas.
Real quick, too, did you guys see that Evan Williams apparently had a good day? I think it was X was also asked, how weird is it, or how is the experience that you're the constant, you're the constant in that safety room, and that on certain days you're going to get rotated with other safeties. And that's when he went into that comment about how he's there to help coach him up. But he also talked about how Evan Williams, he goes, man, basically like, watch out for him too. He could be a starter. And we, you know, me and Clayton and we all talked about how we thought he was more of just a pure, I don't want to say just a blitzer and one of my HMMs, you know, and but
I like that better, Jake. I like you saying it like that.
HMMs, yeah, one of your HMMs. I like that. One of your
right. One of my hums. But he actually has shown, and we talked about it, Clayton, too, in some of the film. We're like, oh, he's got coverage skills. It's just that all of his highlights are him just shooting gaps and shooting around the edge and just absolutely being that HMM that we kind of grew and knew to love. But he made an interception, I think, today. There we go. We had, and that will help. That'll make Tim happy, too, that his boy Ant still is around making plays. Yep. So,
absolutely. Yeah. So Wes Hokowitz tweeted out safeties Evan Williams and Anthony Johnson Jr. pick off Clifford in team drills. Okay. So now, obviously, we said last year when we watched a little bit of Sean Clifford in the preseason, we said he reminds you of Brett Favre. Today, he lived up to it. Okay. He threw a couple of picks and good to go. But yeah, Evan Williams, and that's the big thing. Like Jacob was saying, when we watch that tape on Evan Williams, it's like, yeah, every play is him sacking the quarterback or having a big hit, but where are the pass defense plays, right? And then lo and behold, second day of camp, he's picking passes off. So, and many people said you got to go back to, I think it was, what was it, Fresno State where he played, I believe, before he transferred over to Oregon, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
They said that if you go back to his prior year tape with the other school, he was real heavy in pass defense. So, going to be really cool to see how he plays. And we say it all the time, you can't make the club in the tub. And I'm not suggesting that they're going to cut Caetano Ladapo. That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying Evan Williams has got to make the most of his opportunities because Caetano Ladapo's banged up with that toe right now. Yeah. Right. So those are the things that really hurt your chances in camp for sure. So.
If you guys remember a few weeks ago, we talked about that. And Caetano Ladapo was my safety number 2 as far as just, I never thought it was going to happen that we'd get Bullard and Catan. And then I didn't really honestly know much about Evan, but once we looked at his tape, we're like, oh crap, they got us type. But like I said, I am worried that Catan is going to be just a little bit behind the schedule. But that being said, if he is that good, who knows? At least we have a crazy depth at that safety position for once.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And listen, guys, YouTube has been cranked up. Rumble, everything is growing like just wildfire right now. Do us a big favor. Hit that like button for us. Help us boost that algorithm. Help other Packer fans find this channel and find this content. We can't thank you enough for being a part of it. I want to thank everybody in the Patreon group. If you guys are interested in joining that really cool community, it has nothing to do with us. The guys and gals in there are absolutely awesome. We do giveaways throughout the season just to give back as well. And it's just a great way for us to get instant communication with people who are kind of supporting the channel. You can just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access, or you can click on the link in the video description. But thank y'all for making us a part of your evening here. We had some news, a little bit of news break earlier. I'm going to hit this, then we'll get back to some of the practice talk, if that's all right with you guys. So the Packers had a official transaction here. They signed quarterback Jacob Eason and released former Wisconsin long snapper Peter Bowden. Details in our practice blog is what it says here. Green Bay Packers training camp live from Tom Silverstein. Now I'm hearing people say Tom Silverstein instead of Steen, so I'm just going to say it twice every time we mention his name. But obviously Tom very, very plugged in. They call him Spoon, plugged in with the Packers. So they tried out Jacob Eason early in the offseason, if I remember correctly. Now, some people are going, oh, man, this means the Jordan Love thing is going to really drag out. I don't think it means that. It's another camp arm that they're going to have on hand. Mm-hmm. And, again, I know some people were upset that the former Wisconsin long snapper Peter Bowden got cut. But my big thing is, like, why are we hating on Matt Orzik? Because I don't feel like Matt Orzik has done a horrible job. Like, I feel like he's been pretty steady. Do you guys agree or no?
I was surprised that there was a little bit of a reaction on Packers Twitter from what I could tell. That it's like, why are we doing this? I mean, to me, you kind of just explained it right there. It's like we need a third quarterback arm. There were even talks that I heard that I don't know if it was a joke or whatever, but they said like, hey, we were about ready to have Sean Manningham or whatever his name is start throwing some passes just because.
Yeah, Mannion,
yeah, and the coach now, former NFL backup and stuff. But I personally. At first, I did scratch my head because I thought, oh, no, here we go with special teams and snappers and holders again. Are we really going to do this again after we had a year of a guy where you're like, yeah, I mean, like, that was okay. I mean, would you guys argue that the special teams woes that you'll say of last year, I don't think that was on Orzik, was it?
No, I mean, there was a couple of times, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Emilio. I remember there was a few bad snaps, but it wasn't like enough to affect the play dramatically. You know, right. We got so used to that ball getting skipped back there and everything that was like, please bring back Brett Goop. Where is Brett Goop? Get him. I don't care if he's 75 years old now. Get him back on the team. Yeah, I feel like Matt Orzik's done all right.
They can't hit him anyway, right? So just we can't line up over the center anyway. But honestly, dude's got 2 snaps he's got to do, right? He's got to do a 7-yard field goal and a 15-yard punt snap. So from what I remember, don't remember seeing any issues with the punt snap. So we're looking at a handful of field goals. The dude's won a Super Bowl, so it's not like he can't snap. Like the biggest concern with a long snapper would be the pressure in like that sort of a Super Bowl time when you got to snap it with 2 seconds left, you know, for the winning kick. Yeah, the kicker's got the pressure, but we still got to get the ball to him. So if he's got that, I feel like they would have seen that by now, right? We went through mini camp and now we're into training camp. If they didn't see if Orzik still had it or, you know, if Bowden was the guy, I think that's totally a fine move.
Yeah, something else that happened too, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but we need to cover it here. And Omer, by the way, I love the new profile pic there, Omer. You got Heath Ledger as the Joker with the cheese head on, you know, the cop cruiser or whatever it is. I love it. So Royce Newman news, and this is going to be polarizing. I promise you that. Royce Newman likely improved, and this is from, I'm sorry, let me give a shout out here where this came from. The article was through Packer Wire, okay? They said Royce Newman likely improved his chances of making the Green Bay Packers 53-man roster by agreeing to a revised contract ahead of the 2024 season. According to Over the Cap, Newman reduced his base salary to $1.25 million and converted $1 million into per game roster bonuses, lowering his salary cap number to $2.37 million this season. Newman, who is entering the final year of his rookie deal, was set to make $3.1 million in 2024 after earning the NFL's proven performance escalator during his first 3 seasons. I think that's tied to playing time, if I remember correctly. Although this is a straight pay cut for Newman, it could be seen as a middle ground for player and team after the escalator clause drastically increased his salary. So I kind of disagree, and I don't want to disrespect whoever wrote this at Packer Wire. I wish I'd have grabbed the name. I apologize for that. I'm sure they do a phenomenal job. I respectfully disagree on this kind of the article kind of suggests he's a lock now for the roster. I just don't see it that way. To me, it's kind of the opposite. It's like, hey, listen, if you want to hang around, we're going to have to adjust this a little bit, and it's going to be kind of a per-game basis, right? And the second that Jacob Monk and Jordan Morgan and these guys show, oh, we're good at guard, we're deep at guard now, then you kind of tell Royce exactly what many people have been wanting to say, like, hey, Bub, we'll see you around.
Yeah. I think, too, like you just talked about with Jacob Monk, I don't know if you've seen the clip of him just razzle-dazzling the crowd today while they're in the middle of the pouring rain.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened if they called him out or whatever, but he starts running up and down the fans, and and I was like, that's a rookie, and he feels comfortable enough to be like a crowd igniter. That, again, one of those things where we have second-year guys quoting rookies. We have rookies running around camp rousing the crowd as if like you're a veteran. Yeah. I guarantee you that doesn't happen on most teams. It just doesn't. And the whole thing with Royce, I think this is a goodie move. Think about what we do with AJ Dillon. We want our floor, our absolute basement floor, at a place where maybe we think we can still win. I don't know. I still think that there's I'd say 60-40 that he makes the team just because Packers are so reluctant to release some of their draft picks. And he did. You guys remember, he showed so much promise right away. Like initially, he was literally the best offensive lineman, I think, in preseason his rookie year. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was like one of his credentials. And we're all like, oh, here we go. We got another one. He had the Kentucky waterfall just looking all good.
Ooh, come on, dude.
But you're right, Jacob. I mean, just like AJ, let's restructure this, man, and we still could move on from you, right? There's still a possibility, even with AJ. I don't want to say that more than anyone, right? Bring back the tractor. That's right here.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there it was. So this is Caden on Twitter. Caden Sanula. I know I'm screwing that name up. I apologize, Caden. Caden's awesome, man. He's always sharing clips from inside Lambeau on game day. Absolutely awesome. Yeah, so you see rookie Jacob Monk getting them fired up. And guys, if I remember correctly, Emilio Jacob, wasn't he a 5-year captain? Wasn't that what it was where he played?
I know he was for sure a captain every year he played. I don't know.
I want to say he was a 5-year starter maybe, and like a 3-year captain, something like that. But yeah, then that's the other thing. One, I mean, he's not afraid. He's not embarrassed. He wants to be a part of this team. He cares. He does, he's all for it. And then you get the other guys cheering behind him. You need to see stuff like that. That's the team, right?
I was going to say, it's almost like the team was egging him on to be like, yo, go run. Right, you got to go farther down, get those fans involved. Like, that's, again, something that maybe you just don't do with most teams.
Yeah, gotta love training camp, man. I absolutely love it. All right, so what else we got to hit on here? We're going to have to go rapid fire. We're at the 22-minute mark. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. If y'all would hit that like button real quick, we'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. We don't have to go too fast, I guess. We're all right on time. Running backs. Tom Silverstein tweeted out a couple tweets here geared around the running back. Says LaFleur said he didn't think rookie running back Marshawn Lloyd, who has a hip injury, would be out too long. He said probably would miss the next couple of days. Guys, if he's out there by the end of the week, I'm going to be absolutely fired up. Tom Silverstein went on to say LaFleur said that this is the best he's seen running back A.J. Dillon. Quote, he's in great shape. I think he's in a great place mentally. So the running back room, man, I don't know, man. Look out. We might have a 3-headed monster there this year, dude. Coach Lynn in the chat says, I may have been wrong about Dillon. Heard he looks different with his speed and acceleration. Could we roster 4 running backs? That's a great question. Coach Lynn, I'm as guilty as anyone, and I know these guys are too. Every week we think we got to keep him too. We got to keep that guy too. And if it was up to us, our roster is going to be 73-man roster. Goody has done one hell of a job building the bottom third of this roster. There's no doubt about that. But what do you guys think about the running backs there? Do you think this is the year that A.J. Dillon kind of gets back on track too?
Emilio?
Yeah, please. Like I said, get the John Deere green out there. Get them, we'll start them early. We'll get the glow plugs going. I knew you were going to say that. We'll get the glow plugs going. We'll start them up. We'll warm them up first couple quarters. By the fourth quarter,
John Deere green on a hot summer night. Hero Billy Bob loves Charlene.
I apologize, Emilio. Go ahead.
And letters 3 foot high. And I'm telling you, It's exactly what we need. By the fourth quarter, who wants to run the ball? Who wants to tackle A.J. Dillon in the rain right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, please bring him back. Run him.
Jacob, how do you feel about Marshawn Lloyd, man? If he is on the practice field here in a couple of days, man, let's go, dude. Because Matt LaFleur did say, I think in his presser, he's a weapon. He used that exact term. So
yeah, I was a little bit honestly dumbfounded when we took that pick because I thought that they had a lot of faith in A.J. Dillon. And now I think that two things can be true at once. They had faith in A.J. Dillon. They maybe thought we're going to have this guy restructure. And then the fact that, too, that Marshawn Lloyd is just – he seems like a different type of back. Again, we've talked about how he seems along the lines of – remember Marshall Faulk and guys that could be equally as impressive running in the middle of the field and also catching the ball out of the backfield, doing swing routes, whatever you want to do with him. He seems like – really, like you talked about, football IQ wise, social IQ wise, he seems happy to be there. He seems almost more positive than Aaron Jones, which no shade on Aaron Jones on the fact that you're wearing purple now, you dirty son of a. But other than that, I do want them to ease it in. So I'm assuming that when Coach was talking about a rostering 4, it would be Dillon, Lloyd, Jacobs, and then Wilson, right? Would have to be Wilson, yeah. Okay. So that would be. I don't know how we do that because there's so many other, like you said, well, we got to keep this guy next year and or for this year. And there's so many fringe players where I don't know how to pick. It's like Sophie's choice, man.
Yeah. And again, this is the 2023 final 53. It doesn't mean this is the route the Packers are going to take. I just like to refer back to the previous year when they broke camp. And last year they only broke camp with 3 running backs. They broke camp with 2 quarterbacks. We're saying there might be 3 this year. We broke camp with 3 running backs. We're saying there might be 4 this year. We broke camp with 6 wide receivers. There may be 7 this year.
Tight ends 3, should be 4.
Yep, exactly.
What do we do?
We're gonna have to steal from the O-line spots, I think. O-line, D-line. Because I guess our D-line is going to be more. We're gonna have to steal some from the backers, but.
Can I ask a question that might sound stupid, but to me it seems so freaking obvious? Why has nobody ever tried to cross-train any player that can kick, that can snap, that can hold? That frees up 3 spots on your roster every year. You're telling me that guys can play cornerback and play wide receiver, but they can't snap a ball, when you can't rush the center? They can't hold the ball when you have, a split few seconds?
I'll tell you what bothers me more than that. I watch a lot of college football. I watch a lot of high school football at kind of a high level. Right. Like I love watching like the national contending high school teams, especially down in Texas. You can catch some of that on TV. When I see college players, kickers, just absolutely perfect. And it seems like every game somebody's hitting a clutch kick. I'm going, why can't we have one of those 73 people that are out there? You know what I mean? It's like, what happens to all these guys? How is there such a shortage for kickers in the NFL? Because if there was ever a position at the NFL that you'd say, okay, that's probably the position to easily or the easiest to convert over from college to the pros, you would think it's kicker. Not that there's not more pressure and all that. I got you, but you don't have to worry about, wow, they're a lot quicker. They're a lot faster in the NFL, right? I don't know. That just always blew my mind. So I understand what you're saying about not having.
You guys remember when the Dolphins kicker was out? Tyreek Hill kicked the kickoff and did it well. It went to the 5. You know what I'm saying? I played long snapper, I played center, and I played middle linebacker. Why can't somebody do 2 of the 3? Or you know what I'm saying?
If we had a kicker punter, just rotate that.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing.
Jacob said, if an unathletic whitey like me can do it, why can't some of these elite athletes do it?
I ran a 5 flat 40.
Yeah, and how fast is your snap, Jacob? Did it take 4 seconds to get back there?
I could snap a football over a mountain. All right.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that doesn't help. How fast does it get back 15 yards, Jacob?
Bro, we've seen a couple long snappers here in Green Bay that could put it over a mountain too. They damn near did it. I'm just telling you. So, yeah, we'll see though, man. I understand what you're saying. I really do. And watching people like, was it Travis Hunter, I think is his name, for Colorado, and how he's playing. Is phenomenal, man. Absolutely phenomenal. But speaking of defensive backs, let's go to our boy Javon Bullard. Like we mentioned earlier, he had the really cool quote there from Matt LaFleur, or I'm sorry, from Bullard. He said, "I ain't gonna lie." He was asked about getting comfortable, how comfortable he is getting in the D, and he said, "quote I ain't gonna lie, I don't even like the word comfortable. No disrespect, but I don't really like that word, especially in this profession, because the second you get comfortable, somebody's got your job, and I don't even have a job yet." So he's obviously coming in humble. Matt LaFleur said here, and this is according to Tom Silverstein, Packers coach Matt LaFleur said that rookie safety Javon Bullard has shown a lot in a short time. He lined up as a starter yesterday, and LaFleur said it's important he continue on the same path when the pads come on. And that's another thing, too. It's one thing to do this in shells and no pads and all that good stuff. When the pads come on, you're putting that extra weight on, man. It becomes a whole different ballgame, right? Especially when those pads start popping. I have all the faith in the world in Javon Bullard. I have never been more confident about a draft pick for the Packers, and that includes first-round picks, where I look up and I watch Javon Bullard's college tape, and I go, this dude, I'm telling you, I said it from day one. As soon as Jacob turned us on to him and we watched the tape, he reminds me, and people are going to hate on me for this, and it's totally cool. He reminds me of Nick Collins.
Ooh.
Just the way he plays, because Nick Collins did it all. He could cover. He could cover in the slot if you needed him to, although they didn't ask him too much. He could play post safety. He could play in a too high shell and really, really shrink the other half of the field a touch too. If the route combination, the passing concept wasn't attacking his side of the field, he could come down in the box and lay the lumber. That dude could do it all. When you watch Javon Bullard at Georgia, specifically in 2023 when he played safety, bro, it is really, really interesting to watch. I mean, he just seems like he can do it all. So I'm really excited about that, man. Let's see here. Eric Sutherland says Bullard looked good in pads at Georgia. He damn sure did, man. There's no doubt about it. So anything else you want to add on the Bullard talk there before we move on to I had a little take here on Jair Alexander. I didn't want to make too much of it, but it is worth mentioning. I can't remember if it happened yesterday or actually today. I imagine it was yesterday, but anything else on Bullard? No, all right, we're good. So this popped up. This was 7 hours ago from when I took that screen grab, which was probably about 6 o'clock my time. So I imagine it could have been from today. I don't know. I guess
it was from yesterday.
I guess it was definitely yesterday.
Yep.
Okay.
So he actually just got a little overheated, and then they just went out for practice, and he was back today. So they reported there's nothing there.
Gotcha. So Wes Hodkiewicz tweeted out Jair Alexander dropped out of practice after, quote, overheating a little bit, according to LaFleur, but he's fine. And again, I'm not going to start slandering Jair Alexander. That's not my goal here. It's just it bothers me when people's name continues to pop up in a negative light. That's not like he got hurt, right? He got overheated, and it's like Royce Newman didn't fall out because he got overheated. You're a world-class athletic DB. It bothers me a bit. I can't lie about it. So I hope he comes out and balls out this year, man, for sure. Adrian Cooper kind of got in on the play today, too. Paul Brettel tweeted out 2 plays where you see Cooper's explosiveness, identifies dump off to the running back and flies into the backfield, breaks on a pass over the middle for a pass breakup as well. I believe if I read in another tweet, that pass breakup over the middle was to Christian Watson, too. So what you're seeing there, we talked about it when we watched the tape with, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, Adrian Cooper, when we watched all that tape on his Chalk Talk episode, that dude's explosive, man. He is so quick. And this is the second time now. Remember, Matt talked about it during the OTAs or whatever, how they tried to throw a trick at him, and he read it perfect. Matt looked to the offensive side. Did y'all tell him that? Y'all were doing that? And they went, nope. So far, everything about Adrian Cooper is extremely positive. So.
Yeah. And he's fast, right? He flies around and he makes decisions quickly, which is what we've needed a little bit more of. So that's going to be exciting to see. And I think Quay's kind of got that middle locked. I think we do kind of want to let Edrin fly around a little bit more, but we'll see as time goes on.
Yeah. Feeling really good about it, too, because like yesterday they talked about when they were in their base defense, Adrian Cooper wasn't on the field. But when they went to nickel, which, guys, that's going to be our defense, that nickel 4-2-5, and there'll be some exotic looks, too. That's going to be what we're in the majority of the time. They said it was Adrian Cooper alongside Quay Walker, and Quay Walker was the mock, which would kind of suggest if one of those two are wearing the green dot, it's going to be Quay. That's a good sign. But it still may end up being Xavier McKinney wearing the dot, too. We'll see how that goes. But another thing, too, this is a big talking point when we drafted Lucas Van Ness. You guys remember we were like, where's he going to play at? He going to play on the inside or the outside? If you guys will remember, I specifically remember an episode we did where I played a clip from Greg Cosell, who was breaking down the tape, and he said he was hearing out of Green Bay they were going to play him at outside linebacker / edge, and he said that kind of surprised me because Lucas Van Ness is really good on the interior. Now, this is where it's easy to get mixed up, and there's a lot of people, like Matt LaFleur said, that are exposing themselves in the media because they keep saying 2 gap, 1 gap, 2 gap, 1 gap, and they don't even understand that when we were in the nickel 2-4-5, there was a whole lot of 1 gapping going on. That sounds like a song, a lyric to a song, a whole lot of 1 gap going on. So when they go to a nickel 2-4-5 or a nickel 4-2-5 now, whether it was last year or this year, it was like, why don't we put LVN on the interior? Because that's essentially what he did at Iowa, right? Well, we never seen that last year. They just played him strictly at the edge spot, which is outside linebacker. And in a lot of cases, when we were out there in the 34 jam with our base matching 21 or 12 personnel, he was at outside linebacker, right? Mm-hmm. So now what you're seeing, if I'm understanding this correctly, Paul Brettel said Van Ness getting reps inside with second defense on third down scenarios. So there could be a chance that what Hafley's looking to do is on these third down passing situations, they pop LVN down there to a
2, right?
Yeah, to a 3 to a 4 tech. Could you imagine, man? Mm-hmm. Could you imagine? And here's another thing too. What if you pop LVN down there, and let's say it's a quarterback that they like to run like a lot of trips right, and they like to work one half of the field and play like a flood concept, something like that, where they go in layers, short, mid, deep, and the quarterback's looking to one side. What if you get really creative and you put LVN and Devontae Wyatt in the middle and you kick Kenny Clark out to defensive end in the quarterback's face where he's trying to work the progressions on that flood concept? Little things like that kind of gets my mind going like, man, what exactly are we going to do here? But LVN on the inside on nickel, I am all about it. What do you got?
How many times has Kenny ever been on the edge? You know what I mean? Like, unless we're overload or something like that, I like that we can get that rotation. We've talked about it. We're going to get a different pass rush move, different win. So that I like that a lot, and I do think LVN inside would be nice. Half the time, like you said, in 3-4, he was also standing up. He was up, down, and let's just let him dig in and go after it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jarrell Lee in the chat said LVM blowing guards off the line. Prince says replace Slayton with LVM for pass rush. I'll allow it. There's a lot of different directions you can go here, man. There really is. And that Edgerrin Cooper draft pick really helps with that stack look when you go to your 4-3 base. Go ahead, Jake.
No, I was just going to say, like you just said, basically, is how many different combinations of absolute, like, crazy matchups. If you want to do like maybe a speed rush on a 3rd and long, like you just talked about, what if it was Gary, LVN, and the inside Wyatt, and even Preston I know is great, but I would love to see like just a pure speed rusher like Brenton Cox Jr. just on a weird situational type rushing situation there. Like we just talked about too, you could randomly throw Slayton on one of those D tackles, have him double team up, and then you got guys that are just willing to work off the edge. I mean, it is on, and we haven't talked about Kingsley Mbarré yet. He's back. He's ready to go. And he was maybe that. I think people don't give him credit. He's not just a edge setter. He's not just a pass rusher. He's not just a hand in the. He seems like kind of a Swiss Army tool. And it's so cool that our depth is really crazy.
Yeah, go ahead and read that one, Jacob. It goes in line with what you were saying, man.
This is again from Matt Schneidman. D-line getting pressure again today. Rashawn Gary isn't even in, and he's going nuts. Just hyped up Enigbare and then stared down Andre Dillard and the O-line group as he walked away from the middle of the field all the way to the back of the sideline. Couldn't tell if he was still chirping. That's awesome.
Love it, man. And they said that Enigbare showed up today. The whole D-line group did, but the big news of the day that I seen flying all over Twitter was Rashawn Gary. Matt Schneidman tweeted out 2 straight sacks for Rashawn Gary. He's dancing on the field, and then a strap celebration from Jair after an incompletion, and then another Gary sack. That's 3 in the last 4 plays. So Rashawn Gary, poor Andre Dillard, man. Yeah. Welcome to Green Bay, sir. And they said the big thing that Wildy talked about on Wildy and Tausch earlier, because he first started in studio, he went over to practice and was reporting from the sideline at practice. He was talking about, I think it was someone else too, that Gary's hand in the dirt is making all the difference in the world.
Yep.
Like, I'm telling you, man, he's fully healthy now. Mm-hmm. All those people, listen to me, all of you out there in TV land that was slandering Rashawn Gary last year, keep that energy this year. All right, keep that energy because I'm telling you, I think he's gonna eat, man.
You saw how explosive he was coming out of that one clip that you had of him, the cut up with sled tied down, 50 pounds behind him, and blowing through sand. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Xavier McKinney spotted it too, man. Matt Schneidman put out an article through the New York Times, but the tweet that the article was attached to said Xavier McKinney was asked about Rashawn Gary's 3 sacks in 4 plays today. Quote, I was talking to Keyshawn about it today. I said, man, our D-line is crazy. Story on the hot start to camp for a unit salivating over what Jeff Hafley is having them do. And I read multiple articles, including that one that was just just raving over, he's just letting us pin our ears and go after the quarterback.
And X has played with probably top 3 tech in the league.
He played with Lawrence, right? In New
Dexter?
York. Yeah, I think it's Dexter. Was it Dexter Lawrence? Is that right?
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence, I think. Yeah, so top 3 in the entire league, and he's saying that our D line is crazy. Love to hear that. Obviously, they didn't have all the the extras, but they had a top guy in the league at that position. So
yeah, they also went out and got Thibodeau, so they had Thibodeau off the edge, like a top 5 pick. So go ahead, Jake.
No, I was just going to say, Bill makes a good point, and I heard other people talk about this. He goes, don't look into the O-line and Dillard too much. They're not in pads.
Yeah.
Today it was sopping wet. I mean, just absolute torrential downpour. It's really hard if you're an offensive lineman. I have to give the complete advantage to the defense. If there's nothing to grab, I mean, obviously you don't want to grab, but every offensive lineman knows you grab at some point in some place. It's just whether or not you get called for it. So when they're just in their shorts and in their undies, it's a little easy. But that being said, I'm pretty sure that Andre Dillard was the number 1 tackle that had the most sacks of like over 12. It's either at least 12 or more last year. So this is another, I think, Goody signing where he's like, let's see what we can scrape out of the bottom of this barrel. Yep. See if we can turn him into some sort of, like we talked about, either I don't expect him to be a starter, but I would expect him to be, if they signed him, that they could see him being either a rotational or depth player. So,
yeah. And like Bill's saying here, it's a great point. Don't look into the O-line and Dillard too much. They're not in pads. So much easier to block whenever you've got those pads to grab a hold of, right? And I'm not talking about holding. I'm talking about playing within the structure of the rules. But, yeah, it's a great point, Bill. It definitely is, man. We're all excited right now. We're just so giddy for football.
Rashawn came out with a new helmet. Look at that. I love that. Already switched up.
You always spot this stuff, Emilio. You notice all of the cosmetic stuff. I love it. I'm out here with
all that rain, everybody's visor popped off. Like you go back to that. That's high school days right there when you had, you had no visor, none of all this fancy stuff, man.
I don't need that Guardian cap either. Keep that trash off of me, is what he said. Right?
Pass.
Love to see it. So the last one we'll hit on here, and we'll wrap this big bear up. Paul Brettel tweeted out, Anders Carlson finishes the day 6 for 6. Greg Joseph, 5 for 6. Guys, from what I'm hearing, Anders Carlson is kicking Greg Joseph. He's Rushamboing him, is what it sounds like. If you guys ever watched the original South Park, my man is taking care of business. Anders Carlson might have fixed that problem. He said he was working out with his brother, I think down in Auburn, I believe they said. Him and Daniel were working together this year, and he sounded confident that he fixed the issues he had. Watch Anders come out this year and just be a top 3 kicker. Would that not be awesome?
Yeah, but here's the thing is, I feel like we've started to cut you off real quick. Yeah, I got this thing in my head I saw today was when we looked at the comparison of Anders Carlson's rookie year with obviously Mason Crosby. He was on par, if not better, if I'm not mistaken. And again, a thing I saw on, I think it was, forgive me. I shared it on my Twitter. I think it was, he's one of the talking heads that you wouldn't expect to be on the Packers sides. But he went out and said, look at this comparison. And I feel like we should have stolen that stat and put it right now of Rodgers, Favre, and then of Love's first career year starting. Love smoked them in every single category. Every single category. So if we're, and again, not to bleed into contract talk, but you have to feel confident in both those positional groups where it's like, yep, even though we had a little bit of a rough start right when they started, these guys are on trajectory to be better than the predecessors, which are, one of them's the all-time scorer for Green Bay, and 2 of them are Hall of Famers of Green Bay that'll probably be Hall of Famers. Well, not probably, will be Hall of Famers in the ring at some point. So,
yeah, that's the other thing too, is like, when people talk about that comparison between Aaron Rodgers' first year starting and Jordan Love's, we did it most of the season. Now think back to the receiving core that Aaron had. His receiving core was better. Now we may look up and go, hey, this group ends up being better in the long run, but there was a more established receiving core for Aaron right off the bat. You had Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, James Jones, right? Jermichael Finley. You guys remember the hype around him before he had the pretty much the career-ending injury, man. It's
I'd argue O-line as well.
Oh yeah. Great point, man. Great point. So, all right, guys. That's pretty much it. I love that our listeners know exactly what we're talking about. Ben Holden said Rochambeau contest. I love it, man. We got Jake in the house. Jake said, unless Joseph dominates the competition, he won't win it over Carlson. He's already fallen behind too. So maybe Carlson's got this thing.
Carlson must have been working out with Nigel Gruff or something over the offseason, because my dude
is the bloody piss out.
Yeah, that's the truth. So
some people are going, what are y'all talking about?
Is that your kicker?
Who?
Your kicker on like your what is it?
No,
college.
Come on, Jacob. You never watched The Replacements?
Everybody, that's your
isn't that the Irishman or the Scotsman that smokes the whole time?
Yeah, he's got a bar. He's got a little issue with the bar that he's trying to straighten out, and
smoking a cigarette on the field while he
throws the hoodie over. And they're not going to see me.
Oh, I love it, man.
I got to rewatch that.
Oh, it's a great movie, man. It's great.
I've never seen. Yeah.
All right, so as we wrap up here, again, I got to hop over here with Rob. Everybody, make sure you hop over to YouTube. Give Rob Westerman a follow. I don't know how he doesn't have more subscribers on YouTube. That dude's content this year is going to be awesome. So make sure you go over there. There you go. He said 8:15 Central Time on his channel. He said enjoy PTA and hop over and join us after. There you go. So tomorrow, another 10:30 a.m.
Could you just quickly put up a link to that on your Twitter? So there's a lot of older guys like me that are real bad at social media. And even if we had to type in exactly what he said, we ain't going to find it. So if you could put a link in either the Twitter or anything else, I tell you, it's going to help a lot of old guys like, Eric.
Right. Oh, definitely.
I'm going to tweet it out right now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And by the way, the chat, you guys have been great today. I wish we had more time to look at it. Andy Monday's coming in with some heaters tonight. Eric's always, and it's funny, man.
Tell them what we got on the slate here for the rest of the week, and specifically tomorrow with practice there while I tweet this out.
Well, Emilio, you handle that. I can't.
Tomorrow's Wednesday, the 24th, July 24th. We got a 10:30 a.m. practice. Hoping maybe we could get another interview or two from Matt, I'm guessing. And then, then we got contract day for Jay Love, probably Thursday the 25th. Walk out to practice Friday morning at 10:30, and we're off to the races. We're going to be at 6 years, 330, Jacob?
You think they're going? I don't know, dude. I'm seeing a lot of stuff where it seems like the consensus is he's going to be top 3, if not the best paid quarterback in the league right now. And I'm honestly, I'm just want him to do it, man. Hey, another thing that I'll say quick is people are saying Jordan Love's holding out. He's doing this. He's doing that. Bro stood in the middle of a monsoon, and he's not sitting there just to be a player that's like, hey, I'm here so I can get my money. He's coaching them. He's coaching them probably almost better than some of the coaches can, because he's there literally telling them what he wants out of this play, what his techniques are, what his tendencies are. Like, that to me was huge. And I think they should all, if you're a Packer fan talking about Jay Love's, he's holding out and blah, 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 I would totally pump the brakes.
My dad called me this morning and asked what's going on with Jordan Love. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? He's like, they're saying that he's not, he's not showing up and all that. And that he's not. I was like, no, that's, you're hearing false news. My man is there he is in there on the field doing everything. So yes, exactly. And then to Christopher's question here, is tomorrow the first day in pads? I believe it's supposed to be Friday. I thought they were going 3 days with no pads, and then Fridays. That's why they got the day off there. And then
I think that's right. Yeah. That's how I remember it. So I could be wrong, but I believe that's right. Friday, the pads come on. So that's what's crazy. We got another practice tomorrow, day off Thursday. Everybody get rested up, right? Then Friday, if the pads do come on, you got a whole weekend slate of practice. Next Thursday on the 1st, your very first preseason game, which will be the Hall of Fame game.
Wow.
2 days later, you got family night. If you can't get family night in your area, which many people like us at a distance, we struggle. Sometimes we hit the lotto and find it. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes Baz is playing Madden.
Yep.
See that wink right there. So you check with him. All right. But anyway, If you can't get it, that'll be the Hall of Fame that night as well, if I remember correctly, like the Hall of Fame speeches and stuff. So that'll be cool.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff going on, man. Football season's here. So if you guys would, on our way out, do us a big favor, hit that like button. Feel free to share, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff if you like this content. If not, then, hey, it was nice of you to swing through. Appreciate it if you didn't say anything bad about us. You know what I'm saying? So we're out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Time. I will see you guys here in just a second at 8:15 p.m. Central Time with Rob Westerman. Go to my Twitter page at Packers_access. You'll see the link right there for all the old people like Jacob here. So there you go. All right. Yeah, there you go. M. Smitty says, Rob, there goes your channel with Eric subscribing. Rob, you're going to wish you never invited me on the show, but because these guys come with me. It's just, here's what I'm saying. Don't read every comment on the air. If you see Eric's name pop up, pump the brakes. All right. We got to protect your channel. So we're out of here, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.